Okay, so we are studying about the three node connection in ns3. So this is actually the same or an extension of the two node connection, because we are just using an extra node as a client and connecting it to the same server which we have used earlier. So the same five header files, you can ignore this. This is for netanim for animation purposes, right? So the same using namespace ns3 we have understood in the last lecture, and they're the same. As I told you about this, this is used to show the information after the simulation has been done. The thing that you get on this terminal, this information that is you getting is actually the log. Log is a collection of information that is at every second the information has been collected and it is shown to you on this terminal. So this is the log. If there are different options in log level. You can write all here. You will get every information about that. As for now it is giving you only the overview that at this particular time this particular node has been connected to this port number and everything about that. Okay, you can write log level all to get all the information about that. Okay, so similarly in the last lecture we have established two node connection. Now we want to have three nodes, so using the same node container class. This node container is a class and nodes is basically the object of this class, and create is an inbuilt function of this class which is used to create the nodes. Now we have written three over here, which basically specifies that we want to create three nodes, right? So हमारा sequence इस पूरे प्रोग्राम में यही होने वाला है. First we will create the nodes, then we'll create the channel, point to point, multi point, whatever it is. Now then we will install that channel on the top of that nodes, and by which we will be able to create a device, and then we will install the internet rules on the top of the nodes. Then we'll allot the IP addresses. We create the interface for the IP addresses. We will select the port of the server which is going to be used for connection. We will install the server on top of the one of the nodes. Then we'll specify the attributes of the clients, of one client, attribute of the second client, install the client app on one of the nodes, install the another client app on another client, and then the start and the end of the simulation. This is for an animation, you can ignore this. Okay, so coming back, where was I? So okay, we have created the three nodes. Now we have to second step was to create a channel. So we have specified the point to point helper to create a point to point channel. Point to point is basically the dedicated connection that we have between the two nodes. Nodes are nothing but the computers we want to utilize in our network, and point to point is basically a dedicated line from here to here. Okay, okay, sorry. So this is the point to point helper that is used to create a point to point channel. This point to point is actually the object of this class, and these are the inbuilt functions. Set device attribute, that is used to set the attribute of the channel. This set device attribute is basically setting of the attributes of the device that are to be used in that particular channel. We have set the data rate to 5 Mbps. That means the devices that are to be used in the channel are going to use the data rate at max 5 Mbps. Then we set the set channel attribute, and by this we are setting the attribute of the channel, and we have set the delay in that of 2 milliseconds. That means in sending of the two successive data there will be a delay of 2 milliseconds, right? So we have established the node, we have created the nodes, we have established a channel, but we have not installed that channel on the top of that node, right? So there is node here and there is a channel here, and they are no way interrelated. So we have to install that channel on the top of the nodes, right? I can help you with that with the help of an example. Very bad though, but it will work. For example, these are the three nodes that has been created using the node container. Node 0, node 1, node 2. I have circled this twice so as to notify that this particular node I'm taking it to be the server, and these two are the clients. Now we have established a channel. Now we want to connect them. When we install the channel on the top of the nodes, and what type of channel we want to create? The point to point. Point to point is basically the dedicated link. So when we install the channel we have created on the top of 0 node and 1 node, we will establish a point to point link between the two. Now these are the two nodes, and when we establish a link between them, when we install a channel on the nodes, this becomes a device. This connection we have established, this become now a device. There is a difference between the nodes or computers and a device. Device is basically the connection we have established. This becomes a device 1, and this becomes a device 2. This is one device, this is second device, and this is acting as the server. These are two of the clients. So we must have a dedicated link between the client and the server, and second client and the server. So next step that we are going to take is to install the channel we have created onto the top of these nodes. Okay, I think you understood this. Okay, sorry. Right. So, and in order to install that channel onto the top of those nodes, we will use the net device container. This is actually the container that is will be containing the device that have been created after we install that channel onto the top of the nodes. Okay, we have this is actually the object of this class. Device is equal to point dot install. We are installing this point to point channel onto the top of node 0 and node 1. Node 1 is our server. Now this nodes.get0, you will be looking at this function many times. This is a function that is used to access the node we have created. You will create nodes.get0, nodes.get1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on how many nodes you have created, right? And similarly you will create another object node, the device container device is 1, and this will be telling you that we have installed the point to point channel between the node 2 and node 1 as well, right? Now we have created the nodes, we have established the channel, we have installed the channel into the top of the nodes, thus creating the devices and devices 1. Now we have to tell that it has to follow some internet rules. Now using the internet stack helper is the class, and the stack is actually the object of this class, and we are telling the stack.install nodes. We are installing the internet rules onto the top of it. Okay, nothing else. Now internet rules have been allotted. Now we have to allot the IP addresses. Okay, and IP addresses are allotted. First we have to create the IP addresses, then we will allot them using the interfaces. Now for creating the IP addresses, IPv4 address helper is used. There's the class, there's the object of that. In set base, we are passing two arguments. This is actually the base address from which our IP address will be going to start, and this is the subnet mask we have to pass. Okay, I have created two objects of this class to allot different IP address, and you can ignore this. You can even omit this from this. Okay, similarly you can have only one interfaces over here. Okay, this is just extra. I was testing something. Okay, now we have established that these IP addresses will be created. Now using the interface we will assign those IP addresses onto the top of these devices. Okay, IP addresses are allotted to the devices, not to the nodes. Okay, IP addresses tells about the address of the connection that have been established. So IP addresses are allotted to the devices. Note here, it is not allotted to the nodes. So using the interface, IPv4 interface container, it is containing the interface that will be created, and address.assign devices 1. Now next step, we are telling that the server is up and running at the port number 90 and port number 91. You can have only one port, and using the same port you can connect both the client, right? So now we have said that the server is up and running at the port number 90 and 91. Now I have to install that particular server onto the top of any one of the nodes, as I have chosen that node number 1 out of the node 0, 1 and 2 is going to be acting as a server. So I will install the server apps or the application container onto the top of node 1. So using the application container, server apps is the object of this class, echo server.install node.get1. Okay, I have installed the server onto the top of the node 1, and I have set that the server will start at the 1 second and end at 10. Okay, now I have to similarly, as I have set the attributes or the functions of the server, I told about the server. Similarly, I have to tell about the client attributes. So using the same similar as we have used this UDP echo server helper, we will be using UDP echo client helper to set the attributes of the client, right? So I have said that this particular client is connected to the node port 90, and it can set maximum packets 1, interval between the packets will be 1, packet size will be 1024. Similarly, for another client, we have said that this is going to be connected at port number 91. Okay, maximum packets is this, interval is this, packet size is this. You can have different attributes too. Now we have set the attributes of the client. Now you have to install this client onto the top of the nodes you have created, 0 and 2, because you have already allotted or installed this server onto the top of node 1. Now you have left with only two nodes, node 0 and node 2. So you install the first client apps, this echo client, onto the top of node 0, and you have said that this client is going to be going to remain active from sec 2.0 second to 6, and you have installed the second client apps onto the top of node 2, and you have said that it's going to be activated from 7 to 10. You can ignore this. This is for animation purposes. We will study about this in later. And you start the simulation and you destroy it. That's it. And in order to run, let me tell you from the start. So open the terminal, you go to ns3. For that you change the directory and type ns and press tab. You will go directly, and then again write ns, hit press tab, you will go into this. Okay, now this folder, that file that I'm editing, is in the scratch folder. So in order to run this folder, I have to write waf run, and I will write the name of the file, and as this file is in the scratch folder, I have to tell the path of this. So it's in the scratch object, and there's check is the name of my file, and press enter. Now you have to make sure that all the files are correct, because जब wf folder execute होता है तो हमारे सारे files जो उसके अंदर हैं, they are executed. So you have to ensure that none of them is containing any error. If one of them has error, no file is going to be executed. Okay, because पूरा folder हमारा execute है. Thank you.